Good morning, everyone. According to my clock, it's 10 o'clock. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Good Giving Challenge 2021 training webinar. If you can't see anything, I'm hoping that I'm showing you my slides. So if you can't see anything or can't hear me, just drop that in the chat and let me know, please. I'm Lauren Parsons. I'm Bluegrass Community Foundation's Director of Strategic Initiatives and Communications, and the lucky team member who gets to lead the Good Giving Challenge initiative. So I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items before we get started. Today's webinar is being recorded, and we'll share a link with you after the webinar is over so that you can revisit the content and share it with members of your team. I'll also send out the slides, so you don't need to write everything down that's on the screen. We also invite your comments and questions, so I'll address all the questions at the end of the webinar. So if you think of a question at any point, just type it out in the Q&A function of the Zoom app, and I'll be able to see all the questions posed, and you can upvote a question that you'd like to see answered as well. Or if you'd like to ask your question verbally, just raise your hand and I'll unmute you and you can speak. So let's get started with a poll. I'm just curious here. If you could just answer, I'm interested to see how many attendees on this webinar are new organizations to the Good Giving Challenge, or maybe you participated all 11 years, or maybe you've participated, but it's been a while. So and I asked that 3-year question there because this is my third Good Giving Challenge. So I'm just curious if you're new or returning, but if you haven't been here since I've been on board. So it looks like about a quarter of you are new this year. So that's really exciting and welcome. I'm glad you're signed on for the webinar. Hopefully you will find the information helpful. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll. And this webinar will have 3 chapters. The first will be just nuts and bolts about the Good Giving Challenge. The second will be matches and prizes, and the third will be tips for success. So let's get started with just nuts and bolts about the challenge. But first, I'm going to start with just a little bit of background information for those new organizations. Just a little bit about Bluegrass Community Foundation and why we do this. So our mission is to build vibrant, generous, and engaged communities in Central and Appalachia, Kentucky, and we do that through increasing community generosity and using philanthropy to help achieve that. So thanks to our generous donors, we've awarded more than $128 million in grants since 1967. That was the year we were founded. And last year alone, we awarded more than $15 million in grants. So we like to say that people don't give to us, they give through us. So they have, we call them sort of charitable checking accounts. They give money to us, and then we help them direct that money out into the community. And our philanthropy sort of centers around 4 different pillars: healthy neighborhoods, green spaces and public places, education, and transformative philanthropy. And so transformative philanthropy means that we believe that philanthropy has the power to change a community. And we think philanthropy can even transform people into, being more generous. So the Good Giving Challenge sort of falls into that pillar. So a little bit about the Good Giving Challenge. It started in 2011, so now it's in its 11th year. It is a week-long online giving challenge. Many years ago when it first started, I think it was like 2 months long, which is a little lengthy, and people got pretty fatigued with that. But now we've narrowed it down to sort of a sweet spot of 1 week. It's enough to raise awareness, keep the momentum going, and really still keep the giving pretty high during that week. So we found that to be the sweet spot now. And the goal of the Good Giving Challenges is just to make giving to nonprofits easy and fun. And it launches every year on Giving Tuesday. About just some history about the Good Giving Challenge in terms of amounts raised. So our 10-year total is $14.1 million raised for local nonprofits. Last year, we raised $2.39 million. And the average raise per nonprofit last year was $18,858. The average gift size was $175. And 1/3 of donors gave to a new nonprofit for the first time. So this is a great way to gain exposure to new donors. So go ahead and mark your calendars if you haven't already. The Good Giving Challenge will start this year, Giving Tuesday, November 30th at 9 a.m. and it will run through Monday, December 6th at 11:59 p.m. And what are the benefits to your organization for participating? One, there is a seamless donation experience. 2, collective marketing, and 3, matches and prizes. So first, donor experience is kind of giving during the Good Giving Challenge is pretty much as easy as online shopping. The donors are, they can browse all the different nonprofits that they can give to. Then they can add those donations to their shopping cart, check out all at once, get an immediate tax receipt from BGCF. And the bonus is why they should give during the Good Giving Challenge is 1, they can be part of something really big and fun going on in the community during that week. And their gifts can go even farther with matches and prizes available. The collective marketing benefit for you, there will be 179 organizations and their biggest fans leading people all to one website during the challenge. And we have a very robust marketing and PR campaign that will promote the Good Giving Challenge. I like to say, we'll promote the challenge. You just need to promote yourself. We'll have PR, media appearances, press releases, press conferences. There is also the print guide, which goes out to about 40,000 homes and businesses in Central Kentucky. That's included in Smiley Pete publications, the Business Lexington, Chevy Chaser, and Southsider. We also have a very intense social media campaign. We'll start promoting that really soon. We'll have paid social media that promote the challenge. And also we provide you with lots of materials to give you great ideas to do your own marketing campaigns as well. And then the fun part, matches and prizes. Once again, this year we have over 600,000 up for grabs in matches and prizes. We will offer daily matching challenges, and some days we'll have more than one match challenge. So that's really fun. There will also be daily social media sweepstakes. And I will cover all those in just a little bit. So how do donations work? So right now, if you go to bggives.org, you can see a countdown on that homepage, which says 60 days out. So that's really exciting. But on November 30th at 9 a.m., that website will switch over to what our website team calls Gives Day mode. So you'll see, instead of the countdown to the start of the challenge, you'll see a ticker sort of all the donations that will be coming in. So it goes into a new mode. Now you cannot make a donation on the site. Donations don't go live until November 30th at 9 a.m. So now if you click on a nonprofit profile, it will there will not be an option to donate. But on November 30th at 9 a.m., on each profile, you'll see a donate button. And so that's how people will donate on November 30th. They can, all donations that come in for the Good Giving Challenge to be eligible for matches and prizes must be made on bggives.org. And they have to be made by using a credit card, ACH, that's like electronic check, or using a BGCF donor advised fund. We cannot accept check donations during the Good Giving Challenge. 100% of gifts are tax deductible, 100% tax deductible. So that means that your organization cannot offer quid pro quo in exchange for a donation. The minimum donation during the challenge is just $10. That's part of making giving easy and fun for everyone. And lucky for you, there is no maximum donation during the Good Giving Challenge. So there are fees assessed on gifts during the challenge. The total credit card fees is about 5%. There is about a 2% processing fee and then a 3% technology fee. The processing fee is like the Stripe, payment fee. All gifts made through electronic check or ACH are assessed a 3% technology fee. If you have a donor who makes a gift using their BGCF donor advised fund, there is no fee assessed on that gift. And these fees do not go to BGCF or Smiley P Publishing. These all go towards supporting the giving technology. But fees can be covered by donors. And we find that the vast majority of donors do cover these fees. That lets their gift go farther for you. So when donors cover fees during checkout, that means all donations will be increased by 5%, about 5%. So, but for donors paying by electronic check or ACH, that 2% Stripe fee goes to you. So you actually get a little bit more there. And like I said, the vast majority of fees are covered by donors, so you can encourage them to do that. As far as gift processing, like I said, all donations are tax deductible. Your donors will receive a tax receipt immediately via email. So they'll get that to the email that they use during checkout. Charges on their credit card statements will be from Bluegrass Community Foundation. So all the gifts come to us, and then we will mail a check to you at the end of the challenge. That includes all of your donations, less any fees, plus all the matches and prizes. So this does take a little bit of time. In years past, they used to keep donations open through the first of the year. But last year, we actually did close that after the challenge, and we plan to do that again this year. So gifts can only be made on bggifts.org from November 30th at 9 a.m. through December 6th at 11:59 p.m. And that will allow you to get paid faster. So the problem with keeping the donations open through the end of the year was that was delayed, through up until, the end of January, sometimes February, depending on what's happening. So we do try to get those to you as fast as possible. And so I do say we will send those checks to you definitely by the end of January. We try to get them out as soon as possible. And I know a lot of you want those to be received by the end of December. And I'll just say we try our best. We do have to wait for credit cards to clear. Sometimes transactions can be denied. Sometimes donors contest donations and ask for refunds through their credit card statement. I don't know. It happens. So we do have to wait for all of those clear before we can mail out the checks. And I will just say we do that as soon as we can. And we'll keep you posted on when those go out. And each check will be accompanied by a letter that gives a breakdown of how much you raised, any fees that are taken out, and then how much you received in matches and prizes for each challenge. So you will get a detailed reporting on that. So expectations, what can you expect from us? Support. Toolkits and trainings like this one we'll send out additional training invitations as well. You'll get frequent emails with news and announcements. You get access to the giving portal, bggifts.org. You get the promotion of the challenge and all the matches and prizes that we have lined up for you. So it goes both ways though. What do we expect from you? Please read your emails. We send out a lot, I know, and I know we all have lots of emails, but we only send you important stuff that we really want you to know. So please read your emails, build a strategy, use social media, involve your board, share your giving URL, get creative, and most importantly, have fun. This is a really busy time of year for all of us. The Good Giving Challenge is a lot of work, but it is the most rewarding part of my job, that's for sure. So I really love doing it, and I hope you have fun. All right, on to the matches and prizes. This is what you're all here for, I know. And I'm excited to share, even this information that I'm getting ready to share with you is not even the most up to date. Yesterday, we heard from 2 additional sponsors who want to provide matches. So I'm going to present on what I had to date, and then I'll send an updated sheet with all the matches and prizes once we get those finalized. So it's really exciting for you to hear that more businesses and donors are still signing on to be a part of this. So this is what I had today. There will be more information to come. So we'll just start with the first day of the challenge, Tuesday, November 30th. That will be the Murray Foundation $100,000 match day. This is a 50 cents on the dollar match on unique gifts up to $250, and the maximum match is $125. So that means a donor's gift of $250 could be $375. And that will go from 9 a.m. when the challenge starts to 9 p.m. or until the pool is exhausted. So, and this unique gifts, that's a sort of a term of art, but that's a gift per donor. So there are certain fields that we check to make sure that one donor is not getting multiple gifts to the same organization matched on each day to take advantage of the match pool. This helps us spread the love a little bit farther. So we check like email, billing address, zip code, things like that. So that unique gifts, that means each donor can get their gift matched to an organization on that day for each match pool one time. So this resets though, for each match challenge. We run a report for each thing. So if I gave to the same organization every single day, every single gift on the different days could be matched. But if I gave to the same organization 10 times in one day, only one of those gifts will be matched. If you have a question about what I just said, just drop that in the Q&A function. I know that can be a little confusing, but I just wanted to clarify that, just to be sure that you know that match per donor resets per match pool. The other match going on that day is for the Thompson R. Bryant Jr. and Betty R. Bryant Fund. That's the $25,000 registration grant. That was for the first 100 nonprofits that completed their registration. So this is a 50 cents on the dollar match up to $250 total. So those organizations, if you raise $500 on that day, you get $250. And that you have from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. to do that. And there is a list of all these organizations that went out in one of the emails, but I'll also post that on the BGGive site on the back end. And I'll show you where I'll post that. And that's just for those first 100 nonprofits that register. So day 2, Wednesday, December 1st, we have the McAdam Family Foundation $25,000 match day. This is a dollar for dollar match on unique gifts up to $50. And this goes from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. or until the match pool is exhausted. So that means a $50 gift can become a $100 gift. I'm sorry, I'm working at home today and my dog is barking. So I apologize for the dog barks. Okay. On Thursday, December 2nd, this is the BGCF $35,000 endowment challenge. So the nonprofits that usually go for this already have an endowment or have a goal of establishing an endowment with us. And if you have questions about endowments, you can just email me and I will happily connect you with somebody on our staff who is very knowledgeable about that. I don't want to get into all that now, but it's a really great tool to ensure you have funding into the future. And donors really like to see when nonprofits have endowments, that shows just financial stability and longevity there. So this goes from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And this challenge is all about participation. So every nonprofit with 50 unique donors of at least $25 will be entered in a drawing for a $5,000 endowment prize. The nonprofit with the highest number of unique donors of at least $25 will win a $15,000 endowment prize. The nonprofit with the second highest number of unique donors of at least $25 will win a $10,000 endowment prize. And then we've added a third place this year. The nonprofit with the third highest number of unique donors of at least $25 will win a $5,000 endowment prize. So all the nonprofits with an existing endowment, if you win one of these prizes, that money will go into your endowment at BGCF. It will not be included in your final check. And if you don't have an existing endowment, we will just work with you on getting one set up. On Friday, December 3rd, this is the Given to the Groove Foundation 11th anniversary celebration. That's kind of a tongue twister, but 11 is Given to the Groove Foundation's favorite number. And so this is our 11th anniversary, and that's how this is working. So this goes from 11 a.m. till 11 p.m. or until the match pool is exhausted. Okay, so a $10,000 match pool will match gifts up to $100, 50 cents on the dollar. This is a maximum match of $50. And then the nonprofit with the most gifts of $100 made between 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. will receive a $1,111 match prize. So again, kind of a tongue twister, but that's really fun, a fun way to celebrate our 11th anniversary. So on Saturday, December 4th and Sunday, December 5th, this will be the Mitchell Family Foundation and Louis Bizek Family Fund $50,000 Fast Break Challenge. So from 9 a.m. December 4th through 9 p.m. December 5th, the first 10 organizations to raise $5,000 will get a $2,500 prize. And the next 25 to raise $2,500 will get a $1,000 prize. Then on the final day of the challenge, we have the Marksberry Family Foundation $60,000 match. This will be a 50 cents on the dollar match on unique gifts up to $500. The maximum match for this one is $250. And then from this, sorry, dog again. 9 a.m. This goes from 9 a.m. to 8:59 p.m. or until the match pool is exhausted. And then starting at 9 p.m., the Knight Foundation is providing a $25,000 late night push. This will match gifts dollar for dollar up to $100 up until the conclusion of the challenge or until the match pool is exhausted. Throughout the challenge on different days, we will have happy hour power hours. We have 3 that will be sponsored by Bluegrass Community Foundation and at least one that we know of sponsored by another organization. We're finalizing the details of that. So there will be at least 4, possibly more power hours during the challenge this year. These usually run from like 4 to 5 in the afternoon. But we don't know the exact details of those yet. It kind of depends on how many we get. So these will be pop-up power hours, and they'll provide a 50 cents on the dollar match on gifts up to $100. And so each of these match pools is $5,000. So those will just last until the match pool is exhausted. And like I said, we will, these are usually, we don't, we're still finalizing the details of these. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. We're still finalizing the details of these, and we will keep you informed so that you'll be able to inform your donors when they're happening. We don't want them to be a surprise for everybody because then you don't get a chance to prepare. So we will finalize these. We hope to have everything finalized by the 15th, and then we will let you know so you can plan accordingly. So there are some geographic specific matches here. The Clark County Community Foundation is again providing a $250,000 match. This match pool opens Tuesday, November 30th at 9 a.m. and lasts until the pool is exhausted. So this will be a dollar for dollar match up to $8,500 this year per Clark County nonprofit. They used to, I think this used to be $10,000 per nonprofit, but now there are so many Clark County organizations that they had to decrease that a little bit. And what they will do, Clark County Community Foundation usually has a check presentation for all the Clark County nonprofits. They are going to be awarding some additional prizes during that check presentation, TBD. So they wanted to reserve a little bit of money of their match to do something fun on that day. The Hudson Ellis Fund, again, is providing a $20,000 match pool. This is a 50 cents on the dollar match for Boyle County nonprofits that raise at least $1,000. This is capped at $5,000 per organization, and it matches individual donations from unique donors up to $1,000. And this lasts until the pool is exhausted. This one is kind of confusing. If you're a Boyle County nonprofit, just reach out and we will help explain this in more detail if you need. And then we will do some daily social media sweepstakes. These are a lot of fun. We will have a special post on social media every day of the challenge with directions on how to enter our social media contest. And the winners are randomly selected, and they will win a $250 giving card for the organization of their choice. So be sure to tell your donors and fans to like us on Facebook and Instagram. Primarily is where we post these. You can find us at BGCFKY on both of those platforms. And you can figure out how to enter those contests each day during the challenge. And it's really helpful too if if your organization on social media shares those posts as well, to make sure that your donors see them. Okay, we're moving on to chapter 3 of the webinar, Tips for Success. So basically, I know the challenge, if you're new, especially, it can be kind of overwhelming. There's a lot of information to absorb, but really what you get out of the challenge is what you put into it. It can be a lot of work, but it can also be really rewarding if you plan ahead. So I'm going to run through some tips for success. The first is set a goal. Maybe it's how much you want to raise. Maybe it's total number of new gifts or new donors. Set a goal that will help you achieve that. And you can secure your own matches too. You know, we do provide, and we work really hard, really year round, to bring these matches to you, but you can get your own. So we have donors at BGCF who are giving matches to organizations. Maybe you can get a match through your board. Board members. I know my husband is on a board of a nonprofit, and he is giving them a match. And I'll show you a tool for how to encourage your board members to promote their match as well. Get creative. Have fun. We love seeing what nonprofits do each year to promote their campaigns, to get donors involved. Get creative and tell your story. There are so many avenues using video, social media, images, storytelling to tell the story about your organization, about all the good you do in our community, about how donations help your organization accomplish that. And tap into your networks. Know your donors. So really get the word out. Work really hard to get the word out about the challenge and how to give, and keep, your mail. Now is the time to work on your mailing list, your email list, your print mail, all that, to tap into your networks. And that will allow you to personalize the ask. And again, start early. We're only 60 days out, and those 60 days will go by really quickly. So after you get off this webinar, I would start brainstorming about how you can get started. So on BG Gives, you have a profile. I would make sure that is complete. Include testimonials, donation levels and programs, any volunteer opportunities. Include photos and videos. I can show you how to do that in just a second. And be sure to link to your website and social media pages. Most of the time, your donors are coming to bggives.org to look, they already know that they're going to give to you, but some people, are really sort of browsing and looking for new organizations to donate to. So make sure your profile is as robust as possible, and help donors find you. Create that custom URL and share that everywhere. Use it on your social media, include it in your email newsletters. And be sure I'll show you again, I'll do a little profile demo in a second, but there's a section where you can include keywords. Think about anything that your donors might be looking for, and include those keywords in that function. Think about the services you provide, and include those keywords in there. Just put yourself in the mind of the donor. And the peer-led fundraisers, these are such a powerful tool. These are where donors can create a custom web page with a personal appeal, and they can start making these now. And I'll show you where they can do that. This is just an easy way for board members to issue a match, and all funds will go towards your total in matches. So they might have their own, they want to raise $500 and they'll have their own sort of fundraising ticker on their page, but all those donations go into your total as well. And you'll be able to see all those fundraising campaigns that are submitted by your fans. In the past, these have been called like ambassador pages, fundraiser pages. They're basically peer-to-peer fundraising. And don't forget, a big part of this is donor engagement. You need to have an idea of who your current donors are, their retention rate, their average gift size, who are your top 50 donors by gift size or by longevity. How long have they been giving to you? And think about your previous challenge donors. There is a spot on BG Gives where you can download a spreadsheet with all your previous donors, their contact information. Be sure you've incorporated those lists into your contact list. Now's the time to do that. And be sure, now is a great time to say thank you to them. Thank you for giving us to us in years previous, and we hope you do it again this year. Think about your donor strategy. We've tried really hard in creating these different match opportunities on each day of the challenge to really hit giving levels of different sizes. If you look at them, you can see, the first day has a match up to $250. The second day has a match of up to $50. The third day has a match up to $25. So you can see we tried to hit all those giving levels. Look at your list of donors and how much they've given in the past and try to align that with the different matches available. Maybe you segment your communications plans and hit those different donors up different times. Or maybe, if somebody gave to you during the challenge, but then they gave to you another time of the year, try to advocate that. Maybe you can have a stretch goal for some of those donors. Maybe you can try to get some to give a little bit more this year to see how that donation can go a little bit farther. Really be strategic and looking at your past year's information and think about how you can maximize that during the GoodGiving challenge this year. Think about the challenge is not just an opportunity to get $50 from a new donor. It's an opportunity to create a relationship with new donors. It's not an end; it's a beginning to a relationship. Be sure to, like I said, incorporate them into your communications plans. They really love to see, what their gifts have accomplished throughout the year. Share stories with them about what you're able to do thanks to their donations. Just some marketing tips. Remember, this is an online campaign. I know that different organizations have different target markets, different target audiences. Some of your donors may skew a little bit older. Online, maybe a little bit more of a challenge for you. So maybe you incorporate some print messaging into your or phone calls into your plan as well. But try to think about this really is online, and it makes sense to do a lot of your marketing online. That way you can include the URL to your giving page and everything. But you know your donors best. Think about what channels they're on and meet them there. I guess I skipped. In email marketing, don't forget to plan an email strategy. Really work on boosting and fortifying your existing contact list. Add a save the date. I've had nonprofits reach out to me wanting to download the logo and wanting to know some information to include. They're already planning out their newsletters and save the date emails. That's great. It's never too early to start. And for social media, plan your social media approach now. You can create a content calendar, think about the stories you'll tell, the images you'll share, decide, who's going to handle those social media posts. Find your influencers, get your board on board. Be sure to share your social media accounts and emails, newsletters on your website and everything. We will be providing an additional social media webinar like we did last year. That will be in October. mid-October. So we are planning that. And it will explain, how you can use like paid social media posts and really make those really beneficial for you. That's some of the social media stuff. It changes so quickly. It's really beneficial for us to bring in more of an expert who does that full time. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to tell your story, what you do, who you serve, why do you need the community's help? Why are you worthy of their charitable gifts? How would your impact grow with the support given during the GoodGiving Challenge? I know that we've all been impacted by COVID-19. It's still ongoing. I never thought that we would still be here, but we are. And I think people really like to see the creativity that you all have demonstrated over the last year, and tell your story about how you've been impacted, but how you've continued to serve the community during that time. All right, some tools that you can use to help you with these digital campaigns. Use, think about your email campaigns. Do you use MailChimp? Do you use HubSpot, Constant Contact? We love to use Canva. It is a free source for graphic design. Really easy to use. I actually created this PowerPoint in Canva. They have like social media templates. They have all the right sizes for you there. It's just super, super easy to use. There's also Adobe Creative Cloud, but that can be a little bit more technical. We schedule all of our social media posts on Buffer, and we plan those out, months in advance and schedule those so that really can free you up to do day-to-day work during the challenge. People use Hootsuite as well. And then be sure to look at your analytics from previous years. I was just going through even some of the hashtags for hashtag GoodGiving Challenge, hashtag BG Gives from last year. And it was really fun to look at those posts. But I would go back and look at your posts from last year, your years previous, and see what posts really got a lot of engagement or shares or comments, and try to recreate that magic again this year. Okay, so now I'm going to try to do a quick BG Gives demo. If you cannot see my screen here, I transitioned to my Chrome browser. So if you can't see that, just drop that in the chat, but I'm going to try to proceed here. So as you can see, as I was describing, this has that countdown on how many days are left. And like I said, on Giving Tuesday, that will switch over to a total raise ticker. So, and you can see, I'll just show you, search for nonprofits here. This is random. It's sort of a different order every time. But if you just click on one here, I'll show you. So like right now that says fundraise. During the challenge, that will say donate. So that will shift over. But this is an easy way that you can tell your fans now to create those peer-led fundraising pages. They would just click on fundraise there. And since I'm logged in, probably this will look different, but that's how they can create a fundraising page. Oh, no. So here they will just, update the title, what's their fundraising goal, tell the story about why they're fundraising for this nonprofit. And then they can add an image here that will update right here. And then they can create their own, they'll have their own URL. They'll be able to share that on Facebook and emails and stuff. We found those to be really, really beneficial for different organizations. So I would encourage your donors and board, especially, to do that. There was something else I wanted to show you. So on search for nonprofits, you can see people can really drill down into different information. For example, my mom loves animals, loves dogs. So she will want to know, she'll ask me, who can I give to that helps dogs? So you can search by animals. I have a family member who's really passionate about education. We usually do, this is a good idea that you can share. Instead of Christmas gifts, now we make donations to charity in honor of our family members. So my grandfather's really passionate about education. He was a middle school principal and a science teacher. So we'll search for which nonprofits are working in the areas of education, and we'll do that for him. You can also drill down by county. So you can see who's doing that work in Fayette County. Hold on one moment, please. Okay, so then the other thing that you can do, I'm going to clear this. And you can search by keyword here. So I'm just going to put in dance, just as an example. So you can see all of the organizations that mention dance in their profiles. So that is also something that people might do. So just think about any keywords that might be helpful for donors to find you. And so this is the public facing BGGive site. I will say after October 15th, we'll include those matches and prizes there. And then a lot of these things won't populate until the challenge starts. You'll see a leaderboard of who's raised the most money, and they can drill down on that by county as well. So I'm going to log in as a nonprofit here. No, that didn't work. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to just do a quick walkthrough here of all this information that you'll see when you log in. So again, this is where when you put your personal organization goals in here, that's where these will show. One thing you don't need to worry about is this early giving. We don't do early giving. Some people, some foundations or giving days, they'll allow people to schedule donations. We don't like to do that because we have so many matches that are time sensitive. That gives an unfair advantage to the people who aren't playing in real time. So, and then this is where you can see fundraising page progress. If you go to your public profile, you can see here, this is where you can edit all this information. So you're just going to want to look through here and make sure that you've updated everything that you can. Your custom URL, I already saw a question about that. Yes, you will log in, and that is where you set that custom URL right there. So that will be bggives.org/ and then the end that's your custom URL. And then that whole URL is what you'll share to drive donors to your page. So again, you're going to want to make sure you've updated all this information. You want to add all this information the alert text. I will show you what that means. Okay, so that's you can see there, that's the custom URL. Here, the alert text, this is that first section. This is what shows up here in orange. And especially if your organization gets a match, maybe it's not maybe it's a big match. Maybe you have a donor. I know that some organizations already have a corporate donor who's doing a $10,000 match or whatever. This, I think, is a great place to put that match. So it really draws attention to it as soon as a donor is on your page. So you can see here, you really want to add as many photos. Once you have those peer-led fundraisers, they will show up here. You'll be able to see them all here. And then the keywords, they're down here. This was that edit public profile. You can add those keywords down here. Okay. Something else to think about is donation levels. Think about what different donation levels might accomplish for your organization. Maybe what does a $25 gift do? What does a $50 gift do? People really like to see those quantified, and it may actually encourage someone to give a little bit more. If they say, oh, well, I was going to do 50, but I can see that 100 would accomplish this. Maybe I will bump up my gift a little bit. Multimedia. So this is where you add those photos. You can also add videos. I'll show you what that looks like. So you would click add a multimedia entry. So I'll just walk through adding a picture. So it's really easy. You just click upload file. Let's see if I can find it. Hopefully this file is not too big. It does have a size limit on the photos, so you would just need to resize those, make them a little bit smaller if the photos are too high res. But it's just as easy as that. And then that photo will show up, should show up here already. Yep, that's easy. And then to add a video, it's also very easy. You would just select, maybe it's a YouTube link. Select YouTube and then put in the link to the YouTube video right there. Give it a title, and then it will add it to your page. The only other thing here that I would really ask you to focus on is contacts. This is where you can add people. I know people say, oh, I need to add somebody as a user for our page or take somebody off. This is where you can edit that. But also, if you are adding users and you want them to receive our emails, there is also a MailChimp sign up that we ask you to complete for that user as well. And I can resend that after this webinar in the next round of emails that goes out to you. We ask that you add them to that MailChimp list as well. That will make sure that they get our weekly emails. So once you've updated your profile, this is where you can see donation information. And then if you just click donation export, here's where you can, that's not what I want. You can do it by, a date range if you only want to do like 1 year, or if you want to do everything. And then that you can see that exports that as a spreadsheet. And, you can add all of those emails and addresses to your communications plan. Again, this is the resource center. So this is where we have included all of our toolkits. This is a new feature of BG Gives this year. So we have created a different category, BGCF toolkits. And so this is where you can download the logo. We have these different PDFs, the strategy builder, the nonprofit marketing toolkit. There's a profile checklist, toolkit that you can share with your board members. Just go in here. You can download them. You can just share the links. These are really, and then there's also the GoodGiving challenge rules as well, if you want to look at those. And I will also add the, once we get the matches and prizes finalized, I'll send that out, but I'll also add it here. And I'll add that list 100 nonprofits that qualify for that Bryant Fund match. Then there's also a new feature on BG Gives this year. It's this, I think they call this a waffle. This icon here, if you go to raise, this is a new function. Just a second. This is where you'll see all those peer-to-peer campaigns. And they are under campaigns. So you have to click on campaign. This is kind of a lot, right? You click on that waffle, you go to raise. And once raise opens, you go to campaigns, and then you click on your name, right? And then fundraising pages. We'll get there. It's just going to take a minute to get used to this new process. So I had created one just as a test and deactivated it because I didn't want it to be active. One thing that I think is really interesting. So one, you can see all of the fundraising pages that your fans have created for you here. You can also create a template and then share that with your board, because we want to make it as easy for them as possible, right? Sometimes that any removing any barriers that we can. So you can create a template, save it, and then share that with them. So that will make it really, really easy for them to help fundraise for you. I think that's most. So the other thing that Raise is it's like a more visual, I guess, visual reporting of different donations and goals and things like that. So just get in there and play around with it. You're really not going to mess anything up by looking at that right now. So, and if you have any questions about any of that, anything on BG Gives that's like you can't remember your password, you need help adding a user or removing a user or whatever, I would really encourage you to use the support button here. That will basically just send an email to the BG Gives support team, and they will do that. That's what this is basically an email. They handle all of the website backend stuff. We don't have access to like passwords or anything like that for you. So I think that's most everything. There's always so much to look at in these. On the peer-led fundraisers, I'll add that you don't have to approve the fundraising pages anymore. In the past, you used to have to approve them before they would show up on your page. You don't have to do that anymore. So periodically, you will get a notification that one has been created. And then you'll be able to look at that and see, if it's okay. I can't imagine that you wouldn't want somebody to fundraise for you, but you'll be able to review all those. But you don't have to approve them in advance anymore. So for the timeline before the challenge, we are 60 days. We have 60 days left. So now is the time to start exciting and empowering your employees, your board, and your donors. Ask your board to commit to donating and fundraising for you. I think a great idea is to do like a board thankathon. Have your board help you reach out to previous donors. They could send postcards, make phone calls, send emails, anything to personalize that ask. And now is the time to reach out to even some previous donors and ask them to give a little testimonial. Why did they give? Why did they donate? You can share those before and during the challenge. And then during the challenge, you're going to want to keep posting, keep sharing your story, encouraging donors to give. If you have a goal, fundraising goal, really keep that, provide updates on that. If you have a fundraising goal of like $25,000, share updates. We're so close. We're at 23, who will help us cross the finish line? Remind donors of how and when they should give if you're gunning for different match challenges. And then after the challenge, be sure to thank your donors. Obviously, you don't have to send them the receipts, but you do need to thank them and create a stewardship plan. Just some key takeaways. Donors are ready to give and waiting to hear how they can help. Just make it as easy for them as possible. Increase your online presence and social media know-how. Don't wait until the challenge to start posting on Facebook and everything. Start now. Build relationships and make your plan. And like I said, we'll have another social media webinar to help you develop that tool set a little bit. All right. I see we have a lot of questions. So I am going to dig into those right now. And like I said, you can post those in the Q&A function. First, I see one in the chat. So I'm going to start there and then close that out. So it says, do we need to download to another site before uploading? YouTube now charges for sound. I've not had that experience with YouTube. I don't believe we have a paid YouTube account and we are able to post videos with sound. So I'll look into that. Maybe if somebody has an idea of how they post their videos, maybe you can include that in the chat. Vimeo is also an option. I'm not as familiar with Vimeo. We use YouTube for our videos. I have not had that experience, but maybe if somebody has another suggestion, that would be really helpful. Vimeo is also an option on that. Okay, Q&A. All right. So the first one is donor information sent to the organization they donated to after the challenge. Okay, so what is donor information sent to the organization they donated to after the challenge. You will get, if you have that function turned on, you should receive an email really anytime somebody donates. You'll get an email notification. You'll also be able to see when the challenge is live. You'll be able to go onto that dashboard on BG Gives and you'll see that donation information come through. You'll get that donor information. Unless the donor is anonymous, which we do allow people to give anonymously, but you would see like the amount. You would see like an anonymous donor gave $50. You just wouldn't get their like contact information. And then at any point during the challenge or after, you can export that spreadsheet of donor information. So yes, you will, unless the donor is anonymous, you will receive their donor information. So that's one way. We want you to be able to create relationships with donors. And so we do share that information with you. Somebody would like to know if the names of GoodGiving donors are shared with any third parties. No, we do not. We don't share that at all. That's a no. We want people to trust BGCF, trust your nonprofit, trust the GoodGiving Challenge. So this is not, absolutely not. We don't share this information with anybody. We have it because it's all through the giving site and you have access to your donors' information, but like you don't see who gave to other organizations. No. Okay. So all of the information all the emails that come from BGCF come from info@bgcf.org. And somebody asked where they can find the board toolkit, etc. We will probably include those as links in most of our emails, but you can also log into bggifts.org and go to that resource center and download all of those there. But all emails from us come from info@bgcf.org. So if you're not seeing emails from us, you might want to search in your junk mail. Unfortunately, sometimes email filters don't like us, but that's where those emails will come from. For the endowment prize, yes, the endowment has to be at BGCF. That will go into your BGCF endowment account. Somebody asked about any matches or challenges taking into account the nonprofit size. We don't do that. It's kind of, one, we've looked at that information and there's just really no easy way to slice it that is, that makes sense. We have found that actually the nonprofit that there's a few nonprofits in the running each year that have an endowment and that really go for it. And there's one that does really well. And last year, even unrelated to the endowment challenge, the nonprofit that raised the most has a staff of one and a small budget. So we don't take nonprofit size into account because some might have a small staff, but a huge budget, but their budget is large because of the services they provide. So it's really, but some have lots of staff and maybe a smaller budget. There's just really no way to slice that information that makes sense. We've looked at it and we've decided that we weren't going to take nonprofit size into account for the endowment challenge, but that is why we added that third prize of the nonprofit that raises the third most is entered into the bronze, that gets that $5,000 prize. Sorry. It's kind of hard to recite all this from memory, but that's just where we have landed with that. And if we see an unequitable result year after year, we would look at that, but we're not doing that this year. Yes. So with the endowment challenge, first, I think that's the BGCF endowment challenge. The question is, if your organization wins one of the prizes, do you receive both the endowment donation plus the money raised by donors? Yes. So no matter what if you win a prize or not on that day, you still get all those $25 donations or more. It's $25 or more. But yes, you still receive the amount raised plus the bonus of the endowment. But remember, the amounts raised go into your check that you'll receive, and the endowment prizes go into your endowment. On Neon One, I am still seeing last year's numbers. Yes. Yeah. You'll be able to see all previous years information on Neon One. Are all matches only for the first 100 organizations that signed up? No, that's only that $25,000 match pool on day one. And that's only, how that works is you raise $500, you get $250 match. That's the only one that's for the first 100 organizations. Everybody else, besides the, there is the, Clark County challenge, there's the Boyle County challenge, but all the other matches, those are all different. Those are all available to everybody. Fees associated with ACH donations. Yes, that's that. So the ACH donations, all gifts, this is bifurcated and a little confusing. All donations are assessed that same about 5% fee. It's a little bit more. And then that 3% difference that, the 2% is the credit card fee. That 2% with the ACH donations, that goes to the organization, not towards the credit card processing fee. I don't know if I answered that satisfactorily for that person, but that's really the fee. The donor is assessed a 5%-ish fee, but the difference goes to the nonprofit. If you are new for your organization and you need to update yourself as the direct contact on Neon One, you can log in. I would notify Neon One using that support button. They will help make sure that you are the correct contact. But then, like I said, I will resend that MailChimp link, and I want to make sure to everyone, and I want to make sure that you are signed up, subscribed to our email list on MailChimp. So, yes. Any updates on those users? The best resource to do that through is on Neon One. We have limited capability on removing users and adding users and things. So also there's 179 organizations and some have 10 users. That's a lot of people to keep up with. It's just sort of impossible for us to keep track of who's getting what. So we really ask that you reach out to Neon One, they'll help you, and then subscribe to the MailChimp list. So I think that covers all the questions, unless somebody asked about the print guide. We are sending that to we're sending your all the profiles on the print guide. We're sending that off this afternoon. If you have an update on that, you can email me right after this, and we can see what we can do. But yes, today is the absolute last day that you can edit that print guide response. So yes, we are really excited about that. I know it's that's kind of why the print guide is a really, really nice feature. We know a lot of donors actually keep that on their shelf year round. And we have there's churches and giving circles and things that actually refer to that throughout the year for who they should make donations to, so that it really is a really nice feature during the GoodGiving Challenge. And that really does have a shelf life. And that's kind of why we have to close registration so early. And I know it's a lot of work for you all to submit all that information and the logos and photos and all that, but it really does help that. So we will have extra copies of the print guide at our office. And we'll have a day once they're delivered. Gosh, those go out in the mail, like, I think like a week before the challenge starts, which is great because it really hits mailboxes like at the right time. And we will have some extra at our office, and we will let you know when we get those, and we'll like set up a day where we'll be maybe sitting outside or right inside the door, and you can come pick them up at our office in Lexington. So um, um, if you yeah, so I think that's all the questions. If you have any other questions, you can email me, Lauren at bgcf.org. If you have questions about the BG Gives website, again, you can use that support button. That will send an email to the support team there. They are really, really helpful, and they get back to you really quickly. So that is really a good way to update your information there. The other person on my team who helps with the Good Giving Challenge is Kaiten Crosby. Her email is kaiten@bgcf.org. Don't forget to follow us on social media at bgcfky. And as you are posting about the Good Giving Challenge, don't forget to use these hashtags, hashtag Good Giving Challenge and hashtag BG Gives. We really love to follow along and see what you all are posting. And we, like and comment and share as much as we can. It's so fun. Like, I was looking at last year's and the year before's post yesterday, and I was getting so excited for this year. I love to see all the videos and images of all the work that you all do. And so tag us, please, and we will be happy to amplify those. Again, if you have any questions, again, email me or call me, and I'm happy to answer. Thank you all for your time today. I know this is a lot of information. We're happy to help as much as we can. And again, I'll share these slides and the recording afterwards. And by the 15th, we'll send out the final list of matches and prizes for you. So again, thanks for your time, and have a wonderful rest of your day.